Okay, Declan, I suppose, and then there was one. It seems like it's been a mad long season, but it's all whittling down to the Cup on Sunday. And look, Bows have been in a position a lot of the season to try and either, I think there was conversations about a league charge, a European charge. You've one final chance now to get something out of it. How are you feeling going into the game?
Feel good. I think there's a lot of disappointment over recent weeks in terms of having been in that top four, top three, top four all year, and then to fall away at the last in the last couple of games was really disappointing. But all we could do on Friday past was try and get a one, and thankfully we got a convincing one here against Cork. So we go on to it in a good place. Obviously, we've had our setbacks over the course of the year. We Bucko and obviously Casper missing the game, but we've fought so hard to get to the FAI Cup final. We've had tough games going away to Drogheda, home to Shells, away to Galway. Tough games, and now that we're here, we have to embrace it. But we can't look past the fact that we have to perform and we have to give the best of ourselves and make sure that we approach the game in a real strong frame of mind and know that no matter what numbers are in the stand or what decisions are going for us or going against us, that we dig in and we make sure we play to our levels.
Because there's an awful lot of young players in this squad, and I think certainly what the FAI are talking about is one of the biggest attendances in the history of the FAI Cup final, at least in the Aviva Stadium. How are you sort of keeping them level on the ground and making sure that they don't get caught on the occasion, and as you mentioned, don't get caught with the massive attendance that there's going to be?
Well, I think you work all your career to try and get to these occasions, and you have to embrace it and enjoy it. Been fortunate to be involved in a lot of cup finals over the years, and it's a special day, but it comes and goes really quick. So it's making sure that you do what has got you into the team, you do what has got you a bit of success in playing at this club, and if you do that, then you can't look back with any regrets. But we know we're in for. Listen, both teams will be looking at it and saying this is a really difficult game. I think both teams are capable of winning the cup on Sunday. We don't have to talk about likes of Chris Forrester or Jamie Lennon or Conor Carty. We know Mark Doyle. They're all good players, and they'll be telling their players the same. You've got Aflaba, you've got Clark, even Manis. You've all these players, so many talented players, and it's on the day who performs the best.
And I think you could really get the sense just after full time, having knocked in the couple of goals against Cork here, the real sense of disappointment that, okay, as far as the league went, you could see that the players felt that they let a lot slip away, given, as I mentioned at the start of the interview, the position that they were in, those two performances maybe against St. Pat's and Dundalk really catching them out as well.
Yeah, I thought we played well against St. Pat's, but the result wasn't good enough. We switched off and got punished. And Dundalk was a different ballgame. We didn't perform anywhere near our levels. But the league position is one thing that will hurt. But there's a lot of positives in the year. A new group, 14 players out, 16 players in. Moving from a part-time to full-time, first time a backroom staff have ever worked together. So there's a lot of positives, and we want to finish it off with, it's 15 years since there's been a trophy in the stadium. It's only the second cup final of those 15 years. I was on the opposing dugout in 2008 when Bows beat Derry on penalties. And if you had told me in 2008 that Bows wouldn't have a load of trophies in the coming years, I'd absolutely laughed it off because of the talent and the quality that they had. So we're now in a position where we're one game away from doing something that hasn't been done in 15 years. If we can do that, I think then we look back on the season as a huge success.
And pressure enough as that is, I mean, there's other added incentives. Obviously, that European place, which would in turn deny Shelburne, but the extra sort of prize money, and then sort of way beyond, which I'm sure you'll probably only get to at about December time, looking ahead to January, the carrot stick of having European football there as a prospect. But does that add pressure to the occasion on Sunday?
I don't think you can get any more pressure than playing in front of 40,000 live on TV for a trophy. I don't think pressure comes under it any more than that. But as I say, the players have put so much into this year. I really believe in them. I think we're constantly going to get better. We've took our disappointments. We've spoke about them. We've acknowledged where we were and where we are. But if you had to offer me an FAI Cup final in our first year and our first time as a group together, bet your hand off. And now that we're here, we want to make sure that we embrace it. but also not get caught up in the hype and make sure that we go and perform.
And talk to me about St. Pat's, because I mean, obviously they've had a transition during the season with managers Tim Clancy onto John Daly, and talk to me about the differences between facing Pats at Richmond Park and the Pats that you've faced recently and the Pats that you're going to be coming up against.
Well, we took 4. We beat them in Inchicore earlier on the season. We drew there as well, 0-0. We lost a game here because we had a man sent off after 12 minutes, rather harshly. We lost that 3-2 and there was nothing on the game. We were very dominant in the recent game here, but we switched off and got punished. But there's been very little between the two teams. I like John. I like him a lot. I think he's a fantastic manager. He's got great experiences and he's a good backroom team of people there that I know really well. So good people there, really good people, good players. So we know ourselves that yes, there's been very little in between the two teams. They're sitting on 7 points. We're sitting on 4. So yeah, we'll give it a right good go and may the best team win, really, because that's what it's going to be down to. I have a feeling it's going to be a very exciting cup final. Both teams go after goals. As I say, both teams play the right way and try and attack. So a lot of quality on display on Sunday, and we hope that we can come out on top of it.
Also, the fans. I mean, look, if we take all the way back to that day out in Galway, you saw how much booking a place in the final meant to everybody. The pitch invasion, even after the goal when Dylan scored. I mean, you've mentioned it. It's something that the club haven't done in 15 years. The club have been through some really dark times. So it's the anticipation. I don't know if you can call it an expectation at this point from the fans, but it's really there, and you can really feel it brewing in the background.
I think a club this size should be expectant. I think they should be. We're there where we are, and we want to win it. But I think over coming years, I said it when I first came in the door, the target for this club has got to be winning trophies. It has got to be making sure that a new generation of fans come through and see that the success that the club are potential of having. Because I think there's young fans on here now, and the place is bouncing, and the support has been incredible. But there's a generation there who haven't seen the success that's on the history walls here at the club. So we're in a privileged position. There's no guarantees that trophies are just handed over. We got to earn the right. We got to make sure we do everything in our power to give people a lasting memory. But ultimately, it comes down to when I stand here today, I look at the people that have sacrificed so much to make sure this club's still surviving. People behind the scenes, that have worked tirelessly to raise money to make the club survive. I remember in the Brandywell a long time ago when they didn't know what the future would hold, whether there would be a Bohemians, whether there would be a Bohemians in the First Division. And I remember that day with the pitch invasion at the end and the support, and the amount of people that helped the club survive. They should enjoy Sunday. They should be extremely proud that we're able to take such huge numbers to Aviva Stadium and compete for a trophy, because that's more important than any individual or any manager or any coach or any player, because the people that really put their lives on hold to make sure the club survived is the ones that really deserve a pat on the back.